Welcome to VCTV and part 3 of our 3-part interview series with the founder of RocketBoom.com, Andrew Barron. Today we're going to focus on his secret sauce for what makes a startup a success story. So Andrew, what does propel a company forward?
Yikes. Well, I can tell you about RocketBoom, but I don't know about, speaking so generally about everybody else's companies.
Well, let's focus on some startups, especially those on the web.
Okay, well, I think one thing that I had in mind when I got started that I thought would be a good approach, and that has proven to be true, is to not worry about the business plan at first. Online, pretty much most businesses are measured by how large is your audience, or how many people travel to your site or use your service, and so it's pretty easy to quantify your, and create benchmarks for your success. So I had the idea that because we were fortunate enough to be able to get our business up and running without any investment, then we could not have to worry about making any money for a while. We thought if we could just put it out there and try to let it spread and build up a big audience, if we could get a big audience, then we could stop and say, okay, now that we have a big audience, what's our business plan,
right,
or what's going to be our model? Because we know at least that audience equates with some market value, even if we were to just throw up banner ads or something on our site. So then it was like, well, how can we be more innovative and create more income than just banner ads? And so starting off with that idea, the benefit also is that we didn't have to divide our resources into two, where we're working on our product or our service and also trying to get the business going. Like, we didn't have to worry about trying to build an ad department or doing sponsorship relationships or all of that kind of stuff. And then also by allowing the world to have it for free, we had little friction on its ability to spread around. Of course, if it's free, then people will take it if it's good. And so
they'll come back for more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, right?
So then, eventually we got to a place where it was like, okay, we've got a big group of people now watching us, so now it's time to start figuring out how can we monetize it. So I think that, usually when you think about starting your own business, online or offline, usually you think, okay, I'm going to go to the bank, I'm going to get a loan, and then I'm going to spend all of my money for the next year, and I'm not going to make any money back. I'm going to try, but I'm not going to get any profit for the first year. That kind of a typical thinking. Again, it's nice in this case when you don't have to actually get the loan or any investment. So really all you need is just time. And so if you can, just find the time to say, hey, I'll take 6 months or 1 year or something and give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, I won't owe a lot of money. I'll just have lost some time. And then if it does work, then I'll figure out the next year how to either get some investment to really make it work, or to figure out a way to monetize it.
Did you have to get some outside investment at a certain point?
Well, my dad. My dad's always helped out here and there,
right,
so it's kind of like Angel. But no, we've never had any venture capital or any, formal investing in that regard, and we've never had any, we've looked into acquisitions before, but haven't seen anything interesting in that area yet. So, we also have tried to work with other advertising companies to handle the advertising for RocketBoom, but we found that we could likely make more money on our own. So we have started to establish relationships with others, but we're remaining non-exclusive, so that we're always keeping everything to ourselves. So.
Sounds like you've done the right thing so far. Are there any other best-in-class startups on the web that inspire you, that you admire?
Absolutely. There's tons of them. I usually like to pick and choose the things, the positive qualities that I like about different businesses and try to understand the negative qualities so that I don't end up bringing those on. But I'm really impressed with how many Web 2.0 startups have come from just a couple people and wind up, 6 months later selling for $500 million. So it's pretty crazy if you can come up with a great idea and quickly rush it to market. Then there's just so much you can do. Because when you don't need manufacturing and material costs,
the overhead.
Yeah.
You're speaking about some of the mistakes that could be done. Are there any ways that some startups on the web can avoid some of the mishaps in the trenches of the startup world?
I think even if when people are basing their business on technology, since technology is changing so quickly and it's such a volatile type of business, that it's really important to make sure that you're always on the pulse of that and that your business and your business plans and goals are apt to mold and change. Like probably the biggest, most counterintuitive principle that you normally find in business, or that I found in business thinking, is to come up with your 3-year plan, and then to create all your benchmarks and then go for it. But clearly, like with something like with what we're doing with Rocket Boom and a lot of other new startups, that's a great idea, but still it's important to be able to have the flexibility to change courses when things change. So, and because you never know, you may wake up one day and imagine if you were the head of Nokia and you wake up and you see Steve Jobs holding up an iPhone,
right.
And your heart sinks and you're like, we're going to have to change our plans.
Move fast,
yeah,
right.
and that's a big company and a lot to do. So with smaller companies, of course, it's easier. So.
And I'd love it if you would share some of your last, best, favorite advice with us for startups that are watching.
Well, I think another thing that I've just noticed that it's not always the right way to go, but it seems like it's a good way in many cases, is to really be transparent with your activity, with your business and your agenda. And the more that you're upfront and lay out the way that it is actually on the table, the more quickly you'll get to the point to where people will adopt what you're up to for the right reasons,
right.
And people will more likely have a longer affinity for what you're doing, because it has to do with trust and value and understanding, and all of that basically comes just from being transparent and saying, hey, this is what I think, this is the way it works, this is what we're doing. And the last point on that is that instead of us hoarding our secret sauce information, by giving it away, then people have often found good advice, and then they come back for more advice, and then that raises our value as more of an authority in the area. So the same thing happens for everybody. It's the more that you're outspoken and have something to give, then the greater value you're creating for yourself and for everything around you. So it really has a real karmic kind of a relationship that I think is great.
Thank you for sharing your experiences and adventures with us today. It's been really nice having you. I wish you a lot of success with the Rocket Boom team. And thank you for visiting BCTV in our 3-part interview series with the dynamic founder of RocketBoom.com, Andrew Barron. Please do go visit their site and see Joanne Collin and her shows at RocketBoom.com at www.rocketboom.com, and come back again real soon.